Hi, hello. How's it going today? Here we are again in Shop My Stash. So everything is in these 4 bins this time around, and y'all know how this goes. I walk you through everything in my Shop My Stash. I'll tell you what I'm keeping, what I'm decluttering, if I'm decluttering anything, and then we pull some new products. So I am filming this with my phone. I'm hoping that I have a good handle on it and that it's not wiggle, wiggle, wiggle the whole time. But let's walk through these products. Let's start with complexion. The primers in were the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. And while this is a really nice hydrating moisturizer, I don't think that this works very well as a primer, if I'm honest. It's got a really lotiony texture. It's pretty liquidy. And I think that it does a great job of moisturizing. Obviously, with that hyaluronic acid in there, it helps pull the moisture in from the air. I love that it is super creamy, but I don't think it works well as a primer. So I am holding on to this because I do think that it works really well as a moisturizer, but I felt like I had to go in with the other primer in order to really feel like my skin was primed. This just kind of sunk into my skin way too fast, in my humble opinion. The other primer I had was this one, and this is the No Problem Primer by Touch and Soul. This is a smoothing and pore filling primer. I really like this primer. It goes on super silky. You guys can see I got a lot of use out of it. I felt, like I said, on top of that, I felt like I also needed to go in with this in order to prime my skin. This really is blurring. I really loved it for the blurring effect. As an aging woman, it is nice to have a little bit of blurring going on. Do I feel like it pore filled? Here's the true tea. I have pores. But I don't think that they're large pores, so I don't typically have the need for a silicone pore filling primer. But this one just feels so silky to the touch. I really, really like this, and I'm really happy to have this and another one in my collection because my mom gave me hers. These concealers that I had here, I fell in love with this concealer. It's a really nice concealer. It feels really lightweight, but it is also super full coverage. I really liked it. I do think that it's a bit light for me in my skin tone right now because I still am a bit tan. I have the shade Creme, but I think this will be a wonderful concealer to add to my collection or to keep in my collection. And this one I actually found new love with. I wasn't sure about it because it is full coverage, but I feel like if you use the smallest, ittiest, bittiest amount of this, and put that onto your fingers and utilize that for both sides of your face, like this, really a tiny amount goes a very, very long way. So I really did find renewed love for this concealer in all ways that it conceals, both under eye and all over my face. I am in the shade Light Nude in this product. Urban Decay Hydramaniac. You guys, I think it's maybe just the wrong shade for me. It is a little bit more medium than I maybe need. It is light medium, but I think I could go down a shade and be perfectly fine. This is such a beautiful, like it says medium coverage, tinted glow hydrator. It does give your face a little bit of the glowiness, but not too much glowiness that it looks like a disco ball. It is really, really pretty, and I loved using it. It's got a light medium coverage, so if you're into skin tints but also want something that functions with a little more coverage, this is a really good place to start because I felt like it was lightweight like a skin tint, but it had enough coverage in it that I didn't feel like I needed to pull anything else in. This guy is way lighter weight than that guy. This guy is the Hourglass Illusion skin tint, and I felt like this was more like sheer, almost like a tinted moisturizer than it was like a skin tint, but super beautiful. I really loved how this looked on my skin, so I will continue to keep this in my collection. And then, this is the first time I've tried this since bringing it in at FLC. This is the Nars light reflecting foundation, and this one is in the shade Punjab. And while I do think that this is a little bit yellow for me, I was color matched for it in the middle of summer-ish in Texas. So I was quite a bit more like golden at that time. I do think that I can neutralize it with some of the blue color corrector stuff that I got from LA Girl, and it just looks beautiful. It is considered a medium coverage foundation, I do think. I would say it is more light medium coverage, but buildable to a really good medium coverage foundation. I really liked this a lot. This powder, can I tell you that this is the first time I think I've ever fallen in love with a loose powder. This is the By Terry loose powder, and this one is in shade 0, which is colorless, and I just felt like this went on my skin so beautifully and helped to blur everything and looked really fantastic on my under eyes. I'm shocked that I'm in love with this. And I pulled this guy out because what that means is the other powders I have in my collection I also love. I'm going to get rid of that one. That one was in my last Shop My Stash, and I held on to it because I wasn't sure what I was going to do as far as powders go, but I need to get rid of one. That one is going to be the one because that one is so fragranced, and it's a lot heavier weight than that one or any of the other ones that I have in my collection. So that one is a declutter. Let's move to eyes. I have this eye primer in here, and I like this eye primer. I mean, it's a good eye primer. My eyes don't, burn using it, and I brought it back into my collection because I remember loving it, but wasn't sure why I loved it. I'm not 100% sold on the fact that I love it, but it's a decent eye primer. I don't mind it. It's got a little bit of a tacky base. It's kind of creamy, but also it's sheer. And I wish it just had a little bit of a tint. I felt like I couldn't use it and the crazy colors that I like to put on my eyes and have those crazy colors stand out in the way that I like them to, but it is really good, and the eyeshadow really does last as long as possible with this as their base. I felt like I didn't get any creasing or anything like that on my eyes with that. This loose eyeshadow by Bare Minerals, I'm going to get rid of. This is Vanilla Sugar. I really just didn't love this. I felt like it was a hot mess to try and use. I felt like it wasn't as shimmery as I wanted it to be, and I tried it like on my eyes. I tried it as a highlight. I tried it as an inner corner and brow bone, and I just didn't love it. So I am going to declutter this. This one I ended up really loving. This is the Lorac Luxe Diamond Cream eyeshadow is what I think this is called. This is in the shade Lace, and it's really pretty. It came to me shattered like that. It's not like cream as you would think. I mean, it is creamy in there, but it's kind of like a dry cream. That is the shade of it. It's just really pretty. I used it on my brow bone and my inner quarter quite often. It's kind of like this bronzy pink, which I think is beautiful. But it's got a wee bit of glitter in it, but not too bad. It's pretty decent. I liked it a lot, so I will be keeping this also in my collection. This one is the Ciate Marbled Metal in Wicked, and this is what this one looks like. It typically has that little stopper in it, but I pulled it out so that I could show you. This is just so pretty, you guys. It is stunning. I think that you can see that. Now those silver flecks in there are glitter, so it's not like bad or rotten or anything. I just felt like a little tiny bit of this product did so much. So pretty, a little bit glittery, a lot of it impactful. It's just really pretty, so I will be holding on to that as well. And this is kind of like a creamier, dry creamy formula as well. Not quite as creamy as, say, a Super Shock, but not quite as dry as that Lorac one there. So this I didn't use, so I'm going to keep it in here. This I did use. I love this MAC Pigment in Chartreuse. I used it as an inner corner highlight often. I love this guy, so this will stay. This I used once, and here's the true tea. I'm really shocked by this because I typically with liquid shadows have kind of a problem with them creasing in my crease because I have slightly hooded eyes, but this didn't do that at all, and I love it. This is the Danessa Myricks Twin Flame in True Love, and you can see it's kind of purple, green, yellow, blue. Beautiful. I didn't use this one, so I am going to keep that one in, and I did use this. I love this thing. This is such a great option for a white base for your eyeshadows to put on and have your eyeshadows pop. But this also is a beautiful like inner corner highlight or brow bone highlight. And here lately I've been seeing some TikToks where people are using this as like a face highlight all over the face. I mean, it works, you guys. It's an amazing little multifunctional eyeshadow stick. So love it. I am going to keep it in here though, because I just want to use it some more. So let's move on to lips. I did wear red lipstick, and I have to be honest, I do not think red lipstick is just for me. What I have to say about this pencil is this is in the shade Cherry, and I felt like this showed up a little more pink than I really wanted it to, like almost like hot pink instead of red. I really wanted it to be red. So I don't think that I need this pencil, but I'm going to hold on to it because, I mean, it's just, it's a lip pencil, so it doesn't take up much space, so I am going to hold on to it. I loved this lip oil, but it is really pink, but it tastes like watermelon, and it is so nice and conditioning. I felt like it was a really, really nice lip oil, so I will be holding on to that. This lip gloss I also loved. It lasts for a long time, and even though it has, you know, some sparkle in it, it didn't feel grippy. It is a little bit thicker than I like my lip glosses to be, but I'm wondering if that's why it lasted as long as it did. I will be keeping, remember I put this in to see if I liked the formula, and if I did, there were 3 other ones that I was going to be keeping. I will be keeping this. It's so pretty, so beautiful. This is in the shade Strawberry. I really, really liked it. It was a lip gloss that I wore over and over and over again this rotation. So, some other lip liners. I used this one, but didn't use this one, so I'm going to hold this one still in rotation. But this one in Dolly Danger by Buxom, these are some of my favorite lip liners. I may put this into a project pan because it's almost gone. I really like it. It's a little more pink than I like, but I do find that I can top it. Buxom lip liners are, you know, they're fat little guys, so I am able to use them and fill my whole lips, and I don't run through them super quickly. Obviously, this one's old in my collection. I don't even know if you can get these anymore, if I'm honest. I really like these lip liners. So both of them will stay in my collection, but this one I'm going to keep in rotation because I just didn't use it. I didn't get any use out of these guys either, so I will keep these in rotation too. They're more of a fall shade anyways. This shocked me. It was super creamy, and you know, even with that lip liner on, this was really red and kind of that blue red. I didn't mind this, so I am going to keep this red lipstick, even though I don't, you know, against my better judgment. But the one I am going to get rid of is this one, and this is by Ofra Cosmetics. This is in the shade Brickell, and I just didn't feel like this was good. Not that it's bad, like it doesn't smell bad or anything, but I didn't love the shade of it, and I didn't love that it didn't really last very long on my lips. I felt like I needed to go in with that lipstick over the top of it within like a couple hours. And I hadn't really drank or anything. I was just filming, doing videos. So I am going to get rid of this guy. Okay, as far as the rest of the lips go, this MAC lipstick is in Shocking Revelation, right? Yeah. And that red right there is it. I think it's a really pretty, like, pinky red. It went with the MAC lip liner really, really well. Again, I just don't think that red is my shade, but this is pretty, and I liked it on my lips. It's one of their Powder Kiss lipsticks, and I really liked it as far as the feel of it. And if I ever need a red lipstick that's a little more pink, I guess I will use this. I don't know why I hold on to these things, but I am going to hold on to it. This I actually quite loved. And this is by Estee Lauder, and this is a like balmy type thing. What is this called? Pure Color Illuminating Shine. in 901 Born Flirt, and the shade of it is that like kind of like brownie shade right there. It's more like a balm, and I really quite loved it. It reminds me of the Context balm that I kept in my purse for like ever and then just put into my project pan. This is a little bit more brown than that one was. That one was a lot more bronzy. But I really do like it. So the feel of it on the lips is really nice. This Rare Beauty lip gloss isn't horrible, but it is almost clear. It's that like kind of pinky clear right there, which I didn't anticipate, but it's pretty. It feels good on the lips. I like a gloss. I love the components, so I'm going to hold on to it. This lip liner is going to go. I do not love this lip liner on my lips. That like baby doll pink right there is the shade. I can't say I love this. This is in the shade Weirdo. I don't know why I ever picked this up, if I'm honest. I'm wondering if I got it in gratis, because I don't think I'd ever pick this up on my own unless it was a mistake, but I don't love it, so it is being decluttered. This is a beautiful liquid lipstick. It goes on really, really nicely. It's just like silky on the lips. I don't feel like it exacerbates any kind of dryness or lines on your lips. This is a Giorgio Armani. I want to see, every time I think of this, I'm like silk sheets, but it's not like silk sheets. I can't remember what it's called, like fabric something, lip Maestro in the shade 501, and it is beautiful. It is that shade right there. So pretty. One that I think could be like an everyday color for me. And then this lip gloss, again, super thick, like a lot thicker than I anticipated it would be. This is by Nabla. This is their Shine Theory lip gloss. And that right there is the shade. And here's what I love about it. It's not gritty, even though it's got like little sparklies in it, but it also looks like chocolate brown almost, but on the lips, it kind of has this like dark rose gold look to it. It is, without being like metallic, of course, but it is so pretty, and I really, really liked it. We're not getting rid of much in this Shop My Stash, which is nice, because I usually have a ton of products that I'm getting rid of in my Shop My Stash. So this is what we're keeping in eyes, and this is what we're keeping in lips for now. And then we have face. Okay, so this, shockingly, is like See Me from the Moon beaming kind of highlights. Well, I don't think that I need beaming kind of highlights these days. I really did like these. I used every color, but I think this is more of like a blush topper in my humble opinion. I did swatch it, but these are really, really pretty. Let me swatch some. Okay, I swatched this one, and this one, and that is what those look like. Granted, they're not going to be as like heavy on your face. You can go in with a fluffy brush and just kind of get a little bit of the color payoff, but they are still very, very impactful and See Me from the Moon on your face. So I really do like this palette. I'm happy to have it. This was in there with that, so if I'm missing something in my Shop My Stash, this came out of that. I'm not sure what it is that I'm missing. This blush, I was actually really shocked by. This is the Alamasca Color Veil, and it is in the shade Enamor, and it's kind of, as you guys can see from the bottom, kind of this like, what would you call that? Like tangerine color. It is so pretty, but it's literally a liquid. You have to move really, really quickly with this. I would put a little bit on the back of my hand and then go in with my sponge to apply it to the face. It is really pretty. I really do feel like this has a dark cast on my cheeks, but I feel like it's maybe because I didn't use it quickly enough, or it wasn't still as moist as it needed to be. So I'm going to give it another shot. I'm not keeping it in here this time around, but I am going to give it another shot. This one, I love this blush. This is such a really deep, like, goth look blush, like for dark looks that you do on your face, but it also can be sheared out to be a little bit less dark. This is in the shade Cherry Truffle, and what I would say about it too is it's got a lot of like luminosity to it. It is a baked blush, and I really, really loved it, so I will be holding on to that as well. This bronzer is gonna go. I didn't love it. I didn't love the tone of it on my skin. And I think when I went through my bronzers, I maybe told you guys that this would be going. I just don't think that this is the right tone. It's almost like dirty on my skin. And then if I get any of this in it, it looks like glittery dirt because this is actually pretty packed full of glitter. So I am going to declutter this. These blushes, you guys, it pains me. But I think I'm going to put these in my Hello Kitty station because I hated these blushes. I felt like they were kind of patchy and didn't go on in a very good way. Like even the one that's a little bit more muted it's just really patchy. And I think a big reason for why it's as patchy as it is because I don't know if you guys can see, but it's got like glitter flecks in it. And maybe you can see it better. In this one I used a little bit more. And even if I can't see them, I do feel like I know that these were super patchy on my skin. I have to be honest, I am not in love with ColourPop blushes. I never have been, but I had to get these, of course, because they were part of a Hello Kitty collection, and I didn't love them. So I am going to declutter these out of my collection drawers, but they will go into my drawer of items that are like nostalgic for me because I collect Hello Kitty and I will be holding on to these simply for that fact. These bronzers. So this one is kind of this orange shade called Caramel, and this one is kind of this really deep dark Laguna 3. This one worked more as a bronzer on my face, although it was quite a bit orange, and this one worked really well as a contour on my face. I could kind of like mix the two of them together and come up with this really beautiful bronzer. This will always work as a contour in my collection, and this will work as a bronzer during certain times of year, but I do feel like I got the wrong shade in both. Like I could have gone a little bit more neutral in this shade and probably been a lot happier. And I could have probably gotten Laguna 2 in this one and probably worn it as more than just a contour. But I don't feel like this one is a beautiful bronzer on me, but I do alone. But I do love it. So as a contour and working with the other one as a bronzer. So I will be holding on to both of those. This was a really pretty blush. This is Deep Throat by Nars, and I got this in my most recent FabFitFun. As pink as it looks, it actually presents itself pretty like almost mauve-y on my skin, and it's got a little bit of a luminosity to it. So I really did like this, and I will hold on to that. And then this actually surprised me. This says it is the Complex Culture Overtime Contour and Blush Duo in Power Play and Pink Slip. And I thought, yes, it says Contour and Blush Duo, but I thought this is more of a bronzer color, right? It reminded me a lot of the Morphe shade. This is definitely a contour. This is so like gray tone. You can't really tell on my finger there, but let's swatch it. It's definitely more of a contour. It's got just a little bit more gray in it, but it definitely, I thought it was a bronzer. The first time I wore it as a bronzer, I looked dead. So this is a really pretty, just almost baby doll pinky blush. It's a really pretty blush. I was really happy to have it, and it partnered well with this shade here in the highlight palette. So I loved wearing those two together. And when I didn't want, an orange blush or a deep blush, this is the blush I pulled for. So between that one and this one, I pulled for more than any other blush this month, and I really kind of loved it. So I'll be holding on to that as well.
These must come out of the Hello Kitty ones, right? Mystery solved.
All right, let's go pull some new products now that we've gone through all the old ones. Okay, for lips, I am not pulling any liquid lipsticks because I do have two. Actually, I might pull one because it is new in my collection, and that is this one. This is by Urban Decay. This is one of their, what are these called? Lip somethings. I can't remember what these are called. but this one is in Once Strangers, so I'm going to put that in as well. But then we have one lip liner, so let's pull. I have the Iconic Nude also in my project pan, so I don't want to pull too many, but I'm going to pull this one because I think I'm going to pull the Natasha Denona My Dream Collection lipstick as well. So, and that one will be a nice nude color, and then I have Iconic Nude, and then let's look for, maybe I'll pull this, maybe I'll pull in this one because it's a little bit more pink, and this one is in the shade Ulta Beauty. We got this at FLC, so I'm going to pull this one in. I've not tried a Kylie lip liner before. I think that's it for lip liners. I've got a little pinky nude, a little mauvey, like cooler tone one. I've got my Iconic Nude in my project pan, and then I've got a brown one. I've got 3 liquid lipsticks. Let's pull in some glosses. I think, gonna pull in this gloss, which is the Buxom Full On Plumping Lip Polish, and this is in the shade Autumn. It's a perfect time of year for that guy. I am also going to pull in Sweet Mouth from Fenty. I think that's it. I'm going to pull in this one from Lunar Beauty also. This is in Celine. Lipsticks. I'm going to pull in this one because it's new. It's more of a gloss, but it's the Mauve Glow by Makeup by Mario. And I am going to pull in Black Cherry by Clinique. And I am going to pull in the Maracuja Juicy Lip. Should I pull in an actual lipstick? Probably. This one by Natasha Denona. And let's do this one by KVD. This is in Lolita. I think that's it. Okay, eyes. I've got 2 liquid eye products, so I'm not going to pull in another liquid eye product. And I have this, which can work as a base or whatever. And I think I'm going to pull in this eye base. I'm going to pull in both of these single eyeshadows. They're by El Maquillage. And I have Newsflash and Jackpot. I'm going to pull in this pigment by Sydney Grace, and this is in the shade Rhyme, and it's kind of a silver. I'm also going to pull in this Super Shock. This is in the shade Special Delivery. It's a beautiful like green. And then for eyeshadow sticks, I do want to pull in something that is easy peasy for like inner corner and whatnot. I think I'm going to pull in this by Thrive Cosmetics. It's one of their eyeshadow sticks, and it is in the shade Stella, and it's just a really pretty inner corner highlight. And I think that's it for single eyeshadows, if I am honest. Actually, I might pull in these from Suva Beauty as well. I have barbecue and turmeric, and one is a really pretty like bronzy orangey gold, and one is a like almost grungy purple. Right. Face. I've got a lot of traveling that I'm doing this week, so I want to bring in a couple of palettes, but I also want to bring in a couple new blushes, so I'm going to put in these, the Glow Plays by MAC. I am also going to pull this in by Natasha Denona as a cheek palette. I am also going to pull this in from Pat McGrath as a cheek palette. Actually, let's pull in... Clearly, my blush drawer is out of control. Let's actually pull in this blush palette. It's by Juvia's Place, and it's got some of those deeper blushes, but also quite a bit that I can use as like a highlight also in it. So I'm pulling that, and that should be it for blushes. Actually, this Broken Dude has been in my collection for a couple months now, and I haven't pulled it because it came to me shattered. But I do think it'll be beautiful, so I'm going to pull that in too and see how fragile it is, I guess. I won't be traveling with that one, though. Move into bronzers and contour. I think I want to bring in my Marc Jacobs Omega Tan. because it's been a while since I used that. I also am going to bring in this Melt Bronzer. This is new to me. This is in Santa Cruz. I do think I got too dark of a tone, but the Omega Bronzer is really light. That one will be really dark, so we'll see. I don't know that I want to bring in a cream bronzer this time around. I definitely don't want to bring in any of these palettes, I don't think. Actually, I'm going to bring in this because I will be doing a lot of traveling. I haven't used this yet. If I could get it out, that would be super. This is the Cali Contour palette by Smashbox, and I got rid of my little tiny 3-step contour palette by Smashbox because I had this, but I haven't even opened this guy up yet. So I'm going to bring that. I think that this will be a good add for, you know, I could bring this and that blush palette while I'm traveling and not really have to worry about anything. I think with that said, I am also going to bring in a highlighting palette. I think I want to bring in this one. I haven't used it in a long time, and it has a little bit of everything, but let's do one that I haven't used. How about that? How about that, Donna? I don't want one that's super big, though, because I really don't have a choice, but I know that it has been forever since I've used this. If I've even used this, I can't remember if I've even used this, but this is the Cloak Kit by ABH, and this is the Sun Dipped Cloak Kit, and yeah, look at that. I've had this for years and have never even used it. I remember when my daughter bought it for me, so I'm going to bring this in as well. As far as single highlights go, got 4 in the ABH Glow Kit, but I also know I like some, you know, some kind of variety. Maybe I've got the kit, and I've also got, so there's highlights in here, there's a highlight in here, there's highlights in here. I don't know, there's like a highlight in here. I don't know if I need a single highlight, y'all. I think I'm going to, I'll bring in this one, because it's new. I haven't used it yet. It's pinky. It is the Bobbi Brown Pink Glow. I'll bring in this one. But I think that's it. Maybe I'll also bring in this one because it's also new to my collection and I haven't used it yet. It is the Benefit Dandelion Twinkle. So, okay. So we have some single highlights, but we have an awful lot of other highlights. All right, let me go situate this over here and then we'll decide if we need more. Okay, let's look at some skin options. I think for foundation or primer, it is we're starting to get into a place where my skin is awful because it's super dry. So I want to bring in something that is hydrating that I haven't used in a while. I think I'm going to bring in this because it is blurring and moisturizing, and quite frankly, I love this primer. This is the Tulip Filter Primer. I'm going to bring that in, but I'm also going to bring this in because it is a sample and I haven't tried it yet, and I've heard really good things about it, but this is the Plump Right Back with electrolytes. This is a plumping serum primer, so I'm going to bring in that. I think that's it for primers. For foundation, I'm going to go with my Dior Backstage just because it's easy peasy and I can make this work anytime, anywhere. I think I am also going to go, I think I want to do one more month with the Nars Light Reflecting, so I'm going to pull that back in because I did love it, but I didn't use it a lot, if I'm honest. I think I'm also going to pull in, let's pull in a stick. I haven't worn a stick in forever. We'll pull in the Hourglass Stick Foundation in the shade Shell. Let's look at concealers. I am going to pull in this Bobbi Brown corrector because I bought it, haven't used it. I'm also going to pull in this to see if I truly do still really love it. This is the Oma Stay Woke concealer in the shade White Pearl. I do think it's too light for me, but I also think we're going into a season where I'm not going to have like a tan, so there's that. I also kind of want to pull in this heart-shaped Tape Ultra Creamy. This came to me through FLC, and I haven't tried it yet. I hate Shape Tape, but I've heard that this is much better, so I'm going to try it. I'm just not going to take it with me when I travel. One that I'm going to bring because I know it will travel well and I will like it is going to be this one here, the LYS Triple Fix Brightening Concealer. I am going to bring that. So this is what I have for complexion. I have 2 primers, a corrector, 3 concealers, 3 foundations. I think I'm going to put this in also, just because I used to love this, and I think that this is probably a good shade match for me going into the fall season. It'll be great for October, and it is super full coverage, whereas this isn't super full coverage, and I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of the stick if I'm honest. So 4 foundations, a corrector, 3 concealers, and 2 primers. Is that it? Yes, I think that's it. Oh, and a powder. I am going to pull in, I'm going to pull in this powder because I love it and I know it works for me. Like maybe next month I'll pull in one of these heavier powders in my humble opinion, but that is what I've got going on. So here we are with what I've got to work with for the next, 4 or 5 weeks. This is my Project Pan drawer and Project Pan items that I finished, so sneak peek there. But these are the drawers that I have to work with over the next several weeks. These are all the items that I am keeping in my collection that came out of my Shop My Stash this time. And these are the items that I am decluttering. And just a friendly reminder, these are getting decluttered, but they're going into my bin of nostalgic makeup. But the rest of this is going bye-bye. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that if you did, you give it a big thumbs up, and that you want to stick around. You loved it so much, you want to stick around. You want to see more from me. There's a ton on my channel that I'm positive you'll find something that you loved. Do you do a Shop My Stash every single month or every 3 weeks or whatever it is? I would be interested to hear from you what's in your Shop My Stash this month going into October. And with that said, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you all have an amazing month, an amazing October. Happy Halloween season if you celebrate Halloween. And just stay safe out there, you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, love each other, but love each other from afar. And until next time, bye, friends.